What's going on, guys? This is Mr. School back in with another video. Today's topic is polysomething. Let's get into it. So first poly that we have is polygamy. So polygamy simply means multiple spouses. So it means legal marriage between normally polygyny, which is one man and multiple women, or polyandry, which is one woman marries multiple men. This is extremely rare. I don't think there's a lot of places where this actually happens at, and even this one here is actually really rare actually too. So neither one of these are very common in today's society. It's been illegal in the U.S. since 1882, but in places like Utah, they turned it into what is effectively a non-crime. So the Mormons said, "Fuck it, we want to have polygamous marriages," and they just decided to make it into basically a non-crime. So you get fined, but that's really it. It's most often found in sub-Saharan Africa and in countries that would have Muslim majorities, but even in those countries, it's definitely not that practiced. It's like fewer than 1% of Muslim men live with more than one spouse, so even then, it's not practiced that as heavily as we think it is. It's definitely something that maybe the elites in those countries do, but it's definitely not something that the regular, ordinary Muslim guy is doing for sure. Probably most likely due to money problems, if I had to guess. Let's keep going. So our next poly is polyamory. This is probably going to be the one that most people are familiar with. They probably know at least a little bit about this. This is the one about open relationships that people would call basically the man getting cucked. But let's keep going. So it's basically polyamory is the practice of or desire for intimate relationships with more than one partner with the informed consent. So it has to be informed. You have to let them know that you're going to cheat of all partners involved. So no cheating. So it's not cheating, but whatever. Somebody's gonna be getting more sex than the other one's getting, and it's more likely to be the woman. Um, it rejects the view that sexual and relational it rejects the view that sexual and relational exclusivity are necessary for deep, committed, long-term loving relationships. They're non-possessive, or rather, there's non-possessiveness involved with this entire relationship. Obviously, just by definition, if you're gonna have multiple partners, then you can't be possessive at all. And they call their other significant others metamors. This is a pretty new term for me, metamors. And OSOs, other significant others, that's what they call their other partners. Um, yeah, this is what we would call an open relationship, the man getting cucked oftentimes because the woman's going to be out there having a lot more fun than the man is. So, yeah. And within polyamory, there's this concept of compersion. This isn't necessarily tied to it, but this is I found this in the Wikipedia article that was along with this term, so I figured I'd include it. It's an empathetic state of happiness and joy experienced when another individual experiences happiness and joy. So basically, if you're happy, then I'm happy. Um, maybe this is where the desire to get cut comes from. This desire to see your wife get railed comes from. Like, okay, well she's happy getting railed, so I'm happy to watch her get railed. I don't know how that shit works, but yeah, it's fucking weird. Describes positive feeling experienced by an individual when their intimate partner is enjoying another relationship. This is like the definition of a cuckold. It's like they wouldn't be doing it if they weren't getting something out of it, and obviously it's got to be this. That's also something you hear about empathy too. I'm assuming that if you're low empathy, this probably wouldn't be for you. You probably wouldn't get anything out of it. But if you're high empathy, you're like, oh, I need to feel my partner being happy, and I want her to be happy. If she's happy, then I'm happy, or the other way around. If Chad's happy, then Stacy's happy. It works that way, but yeah. Okay, let's keep going. Now we have our next, not so much polyamory, but rather our concept of the side piece. Now, what makes a side piece different from a polyamorous relationship would be that there's this concept of informed consent. So if you're a side piece, there oftentimes is no informed consent when it comes to basically the girl who's dating the guy. You're the side piece. Oftentimes you don't know, and you haven't given him permission to actually have sex with other women or other men, depending on how your boat floats. But yeah. So a side piece is a woman who's one level above a jump off, but always below the wife. Now, what's a jump off? So a jump off is a girl used strictly for sex, the pump and dump. This is what happens to most girls. They're jump offs. They're just easily used for sex. You fuck them and you leave them. You don't commit. You don't make her to a wife. You don't even make her into a side piece. She's just a jump off. You just use her, abuse her, and you leave it. You're leasing a woman for the night, or you're renting a woman for the night. It's like renting a car. You rent a car, you kind of beat it up a little bit, you drive it kind of dirty, you like whatever, and then you leave it. A side piece is more like leasing. Like, okay, like you're not really my wife, you're not my girlfriend, but you're kind of my girlfriend because I could take you out on dates sometimes, but I don't really like. Once again, down here, like a side piece is likely to get dates and gifts, but still beneath the wife. So like, I'm taking you out on a date every once in a while. I'm giving you gifts. I kind of like you. I kind of like you a little bit. I want you to be around me. I want you to be around for sex, but I don't really want you to like. I don't want people to know about you. If that makes any sense. Like on the Urban Dictionary article I got this from. Basically, it has some like flavor text here. I'm gonna read it. So, while he may meet your family, you will never meet his. A side piece is a woman he will never commit to. A side piece will never be wife material. Only an easy fuck. Like you're just there for sex, effectively making you into a concubine. It's a woman who lives with a man but has lower status than his wife or wives. They're concubines. They're mistresses. They aren't really there for anything other than just for a sex and maybe to take out on a date every once in a while. They might even be more fun than the wife, but the wife still has that special status in that man's life because oftentimes she is the one who gave him kids. I have the Instagram logo over here, if only because a lot of these girls here are side pieces. A lot of them are jump offs. A lot of these girls here get used and abused by the NBA players, the NFL players. These girls here are like all fucking chasing clout, like constantly doing that type of shit. If you watch Jada Black streams on he does a lot of commentary on social commentary on celebrity gossip, and he covers a lot of the stuff for sure. Like a lot of these girls who are like getting pumped and dumped, being a side piece for fucking Jay-Z or being a side piece for fucking who else, fucking whoever, like they're a side piece for all these fucking dudes. And a lot of these girls here are just chasing clout. They look good, but they're strictly that. Like they're strictly eye candy. They're never going to be a woman that you're ever going to want to marry. So now we have the concept of our side dude versus the side chick. Now, they're both for side pieces, but there's a side dude and a side chick. So side dude is a side piece for a woman. So it's basically a piece of side dick. It's a girl that it's alpha fucks beta bucks for the most part. She's fucking the alpha for fun, and she might come home and give you some a starfish sex for the night because she has to. But other than that, she's never gonna like actually commit to you, like, or she's not really deep into the relationship at all. She really wants to be with the alpha, but she can't, probably because she's a side piece for him. Kind of funny how this shit works out. That I like that, but she wants to be with that guy, but she really can't because she's a side piece for him. And at the end of the day, you're the one getting cucked. Now, there's definitely two definitions here for a side dude, and definition B kind of fits what I'm talking about, but it has a lot of downvotes though, which I'm surprised by. So basically, it's a female's plan B. He is never an alpha male, as an alpha male will automatically be given the place of a boyfriend once met. A guy with an ego or worthy of it never fills this role. I mean, he can't claim what he's hitting, so what's the point? This concept of like plan B, plan beta, get it, plan beta male. You're keeping this dude here on the sidelines because you want to keep him. You kind of want to keep him there close enough to where like if you fall and you fail with getting with the alpha, you want to have a beta provider ready to go so that when you hit the fucking wall, the quote unquote wall, that's kind of cope at the end of the day. But when you hit the quote unquote wall, when you hit age 30 or age 35, he's going to be there waiting for you to hit the wall, and he'll take care of you, and you'll be the backup plan boyfriend. You'll be you're the husband material, not the boyfriend material. So yeah, for a side chick, it's a mistress, as I described over here, concubine, mistress, whatever you want to call it. It's a woman one dates in addition to one's, usually a man, girlfriend, or wife, usually in secret. Now, this is what makes it different from polyamory, which is normally done with informed consent. This is why I say they're different, because like it's usually done in secret. Now, this is really what's been going on. Not so much polyamory, because there's not a lot of informed cheating going on right now, like a lot of informed consent of partners involved going on, but there's a lot of side pieces going on in the dating market. There's a lot of chicks who are like getting ran through. The dude has a girlfriend, a main girlfriend. He has like 55 side chicks on the side. He's just banging them all out. And this is what's actually going on. There's a lot of side dudes, not side dudes really, but a lot of side chicks going on. And maybe actually a lot of side dudes too, for all we know. Like maybe there's a lot of men who are married and they're all fucking Chad. Like Chad's getting your fucking wife too, like at the end of the day, like. So what's happening is not really polyamory, at least not by a definition. It's more of a side piece, maybe a modified version of polyamory. You know, it's not like polyamory by definition, but it kind of is. And now we have our concept of monogamy. Now, this is the gold standard for civilizations to actually prosper and survive. It's the practice or state of being married to one person at a time. The practice or state of having a sexual relationship with only one partner. This is what's kind of what we're talking about here, the second definition here. You don't necessarily have to be married to be monogamous, but the second one here fits pretty well. It's the cornerstone of civilization. I'm going to get into this in the study I have in the next few slides. And there's a lot of high investment into children in the future when it comes to monogamy, especially when it comes to being married. Let's get into the study. So this is a study from 2012, so it's a bit dated, but it's from the University of British Columbia. And the study suggests that institutionalized monogamous marriage is rapidly replacing polygamy because it has lower levels of inherent social problems. I actually kind of disagree with this. I think that we're actually going from polygamy being legal to just general side pieces, which maybe have always kind of been there. Like we've always had side pieces and side dudes. I hate to keep coming back over here, but it's a really interesting concept to me because like it's not polygamy, but it's also not monogamy either. It's just cheating. It's just outright cheating at the end of the day. Like it's just cheating in general. It's something that people have always done, and this is what's really going on right now. Not polygamy, or not polyamory rather. Let's keep going with the study. Sorry. So it's rapidly replacing polygamy because it's lower level of inherent social problems. The emergence of monogamous marriage is also puzzling for some, as the very people who most benefit from polygyny, wealthy, powerful men, were best positioned to reject it, says Heinrich, lead author of the study that's published today in the Journal of Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society. Our findings suggest that the institutionalized monogamous marriage provides greater net benefits for society at large by reducing social problems that are inherent to polygynous societies. So their goal was to understand why monogamous marriage became the standard in most developed nations in the recent centuries, when most recorded cultures have practiced polygyny. So most societies in the past practiced a form of polygamy or polygyny. I cannot say those words to save my fucking soul, but polygamy was practiced, or polygyny was practiced more in our old societies. Now we're practicing more of a monogamous society, and we wanted to understand why. Well, studies found higher instances of rape, kidnapping, murder, assault, robbery, and fraud in polygynous societies or Christian cultures. Crimes mostly done by pools of unmarried men. So this is why it's bad to have a huge pool of unmarried men who are just like outside of the system, who don't give a fuck about society, because you have higher instances of all this bad stuff. This all happens when men can't get anything, when men are left out of the game altogether. And this is something that we might have to relearn. But I would say that this problem isn't just a problem with polygyny. This problem can also be a problem with the side chick stuff as well. It's better to be the side chick to a multimillionaire than it is to be the fucking boyfriend of the fucking the Walmart worker or the fucking accountant. Like, it's just better. So like, if more chicks are choosing to be the side chick for some dude and they're just kind of like dying to be his girlfriend, I mean, they're effectively concubines. Like, they're effectively concubines. So like, it's the same thing minus the informed consent. It's the same shit. And I think that this type of whatever you want to call it, we could give it a name maybe at some point, but whatever you want to call this type of just cheating or cheat society or fucking modified polygamy or polyamory. Fuck, I keep getting those terms mixed up. Polyamory, like, it's a modified form of polyamory, and it's like effectively it's the same thing. Like, these women are off limits to other men, and they're not marriage material anymore. So your pools of unmarried men are growing and growing and growing now. So a study part 2. Let's keep going. The scarcity of marriageable women in polygamous cultures increases competition among men for the remaining unmarried women, says Heinrich, adding that polygamy was outlawed in 1963 in Naples, 1955 in India partially, 1953 in China, and 1880 in Japan. The greater competition increases the likelihood men in polygamous communities will resort to criminal behavior to gain resources and women, he says. Monogamy's main cultural evolutionary advantage over polygyny is that more egalitarian distribution of women, which reduces male competition and social problems. By shifting male efforts from seeking wives to paternal investment, institutionalized monogamy increases long-term planning. So you have a long-term stake in the future. Shit. Long-term planning, economic productivity, once again, the future, savings, the future, and child investment, the future. So it's a huge investment into the future, into children of the future. If you don't have this, a mechanism to keep people in line, if men don't have what they need, which is sex as they need, whether you like it or not, they're gonna do. You might have higher instances of these things. I don't think they're gonna do this stuff, but you might have higher instances of these bad things that nobody wants in their society at all. Who the hell wants to be raped, murdered, and kidnapped? It doesn't make any sense. So there are also higher results in improvements in child welfare as well. By decreasing competition for younger and younger brides, monogamous marriage increases the age of first marriage for females. Decreases the spousal age gap and elevates female influence in household decisions, which decreases total fertility, increases gender equality. Now, this is everything in here isn't necessarily a good thing, but overall, these things here help women too. Like, at least it increases gender equality to some extent. But maybe this is the problem. Maybe it's the fact that we have a monogamous society is the reason why we are going to this weird side chick society that we have right now, or side chick side dude society we have right now. Either way, this is Mystery School. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Sources were that one study I read, Pew Research, Wikipedia, Urban Dictionary, Psychology Today, and Google Dictionary. And never forget, guys, that wisdom is gold. See you guys next time.